Eugene Foster, the governor of Creatia, and I'm here with the Chiodo Brothers, the captains of the Starship
Republic.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks.
And we're here to talk about how Creatia and writing and imagination can be combined with the brilliance of the Chiodo Brothers to the great benefit of not only Creatia, but Myouterspace.com.
Yeah, well, actually we're looking forward to that because Chiodo Brothers, we create a really cool world of characters, but we're always looking for writers. So we're going to be visiting your planet quite often to collaborate on that level.
And we hear you have a lot of writers roaming around on your planet of Creatia.
Yeah, they kind of run around loose, and we have writer roundups occasionally. Bring them all together in a corral. And when you bring a bunch of writers together, you get ideas, you get other things too, but very often that's what brings out the best ideas when you put a bunch of writers together. And that's the sort of thing that Creatia does.
No, I think it's really exciting because just looking at some of the threads we've developed so far, there's a lot of ideas being thrown out.
Tell us an idea.
An idea. Well, I know we're working on something that we call Channel 8 from Outer Space. I guess it's a group of rebel alien outcasts who kind of band together in the near future and kind of battle against a big media conglomerate. And this media conglomerate only produces entertainment with commercials. I mean, we're talking about 9 hours in a miniseries with only a half hour of content and 8.5 hours of commercials.
Yeah, in the future there is no entertainment, only commercials. It's all about this.
Well, you can see television going that way right now.
Shh. The fact that it's a parody, a metaphor for today's media, has nothing to do with it.
Yes, and there isn't any certain media mogul who owns a certain network channel that this would be modeled after, perhaps.
Nope.
Certainly not.
No, but the point is that these guys, they start intercepting alien content from other parts of the universe and start repackaging it and broadcasting it to Earth, and it becomes a very popular cult following on Earth.
I'm seeing the future of entertainment being, you know, just a universe of shopping channels where there is no entertainment. You're just looking at people selling stuff and buying stuff. We're trying to paint a picture where there's no laughs, there's no drama, there's no performances, there's no writing.
So how do you make that entertaining for an audience?
Interesting. That's a challenge to the Chiodo Brothers.
No, actually that's the conglomerate's form of entertainment.
Because what happens is this new brand of entertainment that our guys are putting together by essentially stealing it from all over the place, it's becoming very popular, and it's starting to cut into essentially the market share of the corporation. So now they want to tap into that so they could, pervert it into their own money-making endeavor.
If you're laughing, you're not spending.
But the funny thing about the content that we're going to be producing in the show will be alien content that maybe the viewers from My Outer Space will be creating and sending to us, and then we'll incorporate that as the alien entertainment from the other parts of the galaxy.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of entertainment, something from another galaxy, what would come across as a comedy show, 1,000 light years.
Yeah, what's YouTube like in a parallel universe?
Or products. Now, there's an interesting idea. You've got alien products designed for an alien creature. How do you make that relate to a terrestrial audience?
Oh, yeah.
You have to sell something that there's no market for right now. Slurm from Futurama would be a good example, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like, what would a bumpet be?
Exactly.
In the Milky Way.
A bumpet.
First you got to figure out what a bumpet. First you got to figure out what a bumpet is. Then you got to sell it to people who don't know what a bumpet is and don't know what it's used for. And I can see where there would be possibly some potentially unsettling lawsuits there on the part of consumers.
I can see where it could be edible for some societies.
Yes, or you think it's supposed to be edible, but it's actually motor oil. These are things that could mix up. You had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, bumpet is a dance move in some planets. I think
so. So what we hope to do is have you bring some real hardcore sci-fi elements to this rather comical and wacky scenario that we're creating.
And there are science fiction writers with a sense of humor. I take it.
Yes. I actually have one. It was discovered many years ago, and I've been mining it ever since.
What, sense of humor?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think the vein is still operative. So it's wonderful if the humor grows out of the situation. That's really what I like to do in the way of humor. It's really easy for somebody just to make a joke, but if the humor grows out of the characters of the situation, then it becomes true to the character and true to the story.
We agree.
And it's not just a gag.
That's why you're the governor.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Because it's basically
I got elected for a reason.
You can't scream in outer space, but you can laugh, right?
Well, it's yeah, it's like your thing out there in outer space. There, you can't eat ice cream. I think it's
Yeah, in space, no one can eat
space.
ice
No
cream.
one can eat ice cream.
and that makes no sense at all.
Well, I'm always mindful of what Charlie Chaplin said, which is a man slipping on a banana peel and falling down is not funny. A man stepping over a banana peel into an open manhole, that's funny.
But if a midget does it, is it funny?
Always.
Definitely.
There are other possibilities too. That's one storyline. I always thought it would be fun to start out really funny. Gross out comedy is really popular these days, and I always thought it would be interesting to do. Nobody's done a science fictional gross out comedy, but to have it grow into something more than that. And the idea was you'd have an interstellar. These guys, your typical schlubs, stumble onto an interstellar dating service, maybe through your store.
Ah.
So you got a spin-off from something that hasn't even been created yet. And you end up dating aliens, essentially, which could lead to all kinds of interesting characters and situations.
Oh, yeah.
And what if one of the characters actually does fall in love and hit it off with an alien, and it develops into something respectful, into a real relationship? Not to give the whole story away here now, but I can see lots of problems. You know, you got to bring your date home to see the parents. It's tough enough if they're Jewish or Muslim. What if it's a real alien?
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of potential situations here. So you can make the dating service part of your overall store story, part of it, just one more commercial.
Oh yeah, an alien, guess who's coming to dinner?
Exactly. Well, that would just be one part of it. It's,
Yeah.
it's the aliens before that.
The whole
The
dating.
dates that don't work out, why don't they work out sort of thing.
Oh, I love that because, again, it sounds like you have a great ensemble of characters, and that's what we like to bring to the mix.
Well, there's a lot of, I can see a lot of things happening with that simple storyline of an interplanetary dating service. Sounds very simple, but that can go really wrong.
Really
It's
raw,
character-based.
really gross, really sweet.
Yeah.
Perhaps, there's this beautiful alien and you fall in love with the beautiful alien and you're completely compatible, but you're from two different species. It just isn't going to work out. That sort of thing. And again, you have a different character all the time. There's a lot of different ways to go with that. And that can be part of your store story. In fact, when you've got a store, you can go in all different directions.
I know those mating rituals on Venus, holy mackerel.
The plumbing doesn't quite match up.
No. Well, that's who pays for the dinner, and what do you order, and what happens if your date eats the silverware instead of the food.
And the mother-in-law.
Oh, the mother-in-law is a problem. Mother-in-law is a problem. What happens if it's a mantis-type relationship, and after you've had this wonderful relationship, and the plumbing does work, and then suddenly it's traditional for the female to eat the male? This leads to all kinds of future relationship problems.
Oh, I dated that girl.
There you go. See, everything's based on real life here on Earth.
Yeah, but we're really excited partnering with William Shatner as our admiral, who will kind of shepherd these concepts into some kind of major distribution. Would be really fantastic.
And yourself, someone of your notoriety, a science fiction writer. I mean, it brings the real thing to it. It's not just a bunch of fans getting together. What we're doing is getting a perfect mold of the really serious science fiction guys, people in the entertainment business.
That's what's great about Myouterspace. It gives the fans a chance to interact with the hardcore professionals.
And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, because one of the problems with beginning writers or hopeful writers or would-be writers is that they do have wonderful ideas. Have people come up to me all the time and say, I've got this great idea, and surprisingly often people do have great ideas. The trick is they don't know how to turn the great idea into a story, and that's what separates the people who have the great ideas from writers. And when you guys, for example, come up with great ideas, a story doesn't have to start with a paragraph or an outline. It can start with a visual. And you come up with this great looking character, and then suddenly it's how does that character fit into an overall story? That's my end. I'm not real good at modeling or painting, and sometimes I'll come up with a character that I can't even really visualize.
Yeah. You see, that's filmmaking in general is a great collaboration. There's a lot of things that we bring into the mix as visual artists. And we might have ideas, but we're not the kind of craftsmen when it comes to writing to actually hone the story, get the arcs, and create those empathetic characters. That's why working with writers like yourself or the members of your planet would be a great boon for us.
It's Creatia is not just about writers, it's about all kinds of creativity. I've mentioned people who have great ideas but who can't really turn them into stories. I'm sure you guys, whether you want to or not, are constantly inundated with sketches and drawings and pictures of models from people who would like to be artists and who would like to work in animation, but who, not to put too fine a point on it, can't draw or can't sculpt, but the basic idea is there. You see this in art at conventions all the time. You'll have somebody, they've got terrific ideas, but they can't draw a human figure, they don't know anything about anatomy, but the basic idea is there. And then if somebody from Creatia sends that in, that's something you can work with and develop on that.
Well, what I've noticed, you know, going to the movies, you know, my whole life, I'm noticing now recently that all the technical aspects of film, they've got down. They can do anything.
Yeah.
The thing that's always critical, story and characters. That's the thing that they don't have a formula for. There's not a guarantee that you can go to and just say it's going to be a hit.
No, the software may be there one of these days to create story, and then I'll go find an honest profession. But it's not there yet. It's not there yet. You have to find some way to turn it into story. The films that hold up, the stories that hold up, are the ones that have great characters and great stories.
Yeah, and take a little chance. You know, look at a character situation in a different way. You know, that's keeps it fresh.
That's right. I always tell people go back and watch Star Wars over and over again. They don't go back and watch it for the visual effects, because the visual effects have been surpassed. They go back because it's fun to see what happens to Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and Han Solo. If your characters are sound and your story is sound, everything else follows. And hopefully we'll get some of that from, we'll get some input from people who write into Creatia.
Oh, I think we will. I'm excited about it already. So I'll tell all you guys in my outer space world to check in on Creatia and check into Chiodo Brothers Starship Republic and just kind of catch up on all of our goings on.
We'll see if you can keep up with us, because we're going to be moving really fast on this. So if you want to participate, you've got to get your contributions in.
So this is Captain Chiodo, Stephen Chiodo, signing off.
This is Captain Charles Chiodo saying, see you later.
And Captain Ed Chiodo saying bye.
And Alan Dean Foster, the governor of Creatia, saying so long, and we'll see you online.